Today, we're going to learn about a very special ComfyUI node called the switch node. This is one of my favorite nodes because it makes workflows much more efficient by allowing you to quickly switch between different options. I use it throughout many of my workflows, especially in my LTX workflows, where flexibility and organization are important. In this Let's Learn ComfyUI series, we'll take a deep dive into individual nodes and explore exactly how they work. By understanding each node in detail, you'll become more fluent in ComfyUI and gain the confidence to build complex workflows on your own. Instead of relying entirely on workflows created by others, you'll learn the logic behind them, understand why they're built the way they are, and develop the skills to create, customize, and optimize your own workflows from scratch. So, let's get started and take a closer look at the switch node. Here in the switch node, I have connected two different images as inputs. The first image is a bird, and the second image is a crab. Now, let's connect a preview image node to the output of the switch node so we can see the result. At the moment, the switch node is set to output one of these two images. By changing the selected input, we can instantly switch between the bird image and the crab image without having to reconnect any wires. This is a simple example, but it demonstrates the core purpose of the switch node, allowing you to quickly choose between multiple options within a workflow. The switch node has two input sockets, a true input and a false input. To choose which input is passed through to the output, you can use the selector located below the switch node. Simply set it to true or false, and the node will output the corresponding input. When the selector is set to true, the output comes from the true input socket. When the selector is set to false, the output comes from the false input socket. To make this even more powerful, you can connect a Boolean node to the switch control. This allows the true and false state to be controlled dynamically as part of your workflow, rather than manually changing the selector each time. This becomes especially useful in larger workflows where you may want different branches to activate automatically based on specific conditions or settings. One useful tip is to give your switch node clear and descriptive labels. Instead of leaving the options as simply false and true, you can rename them to something more meaningful. For example, you could label false as bird and true as crab. This way, anyone using the workflow can immediately understand what each option does without having to trace the connections or inspect the inputs. Clear labeling makes a workflow much easier to read, understand, and maintain. As your workflows become larger and more complex, good labels can save a lot of time and prevent confusion. Today we've been using the switch node with images, but it's important to understand that the switch node is not limited to images. You can use a switch node with almost any data type in ComfyUI. For example, you can use a latent switch to switch between different latent inputs, allowing you to quickly test different resolutions, aspect ratios, or generation setups. You can also use an audio switch to switch between different audio sources, making it easy to compare outputs or select between multiple audio processing paths. In fact, anytime you need to choose between an A connection and a B connection, a switch node can help keep your workflow clean, organized, and flexible. As you continue building larger workflows, you'll find yourself using switch nodes more and more because they make experimentation much faster and eliminate the need to constantly reconnect nodes. There are also more advanced switch nodes available, and we'll cover those in the next lesson. Those nodes provide additional functionality and even greater control over your workflows. For now, that's all you need to know. You have learned how to use the switch node in ComfyUI, how to switch between input, how to control it with Boolean values, and how proper labeling can make your workflows easier to understand and maintain. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next ComfyUI lesson.